There we go. Oh, Damian left.
Did we lose Damian?
We lost him just like that. He's like, fuck that.
It's like, and live. Goodbye.
I'll get back in here. There we go. That was short-lived, eh? You're just like, fuck these guys. I'm out. Is that what happened? Right? Yeah.
Oh, good.
So, anywho. Fuck, hey. So is it just becoming summer now in Australia too? Paris, is that a thing?
Oh my God, you are all over the shop. First you thought it was starting at 8 today, and now you think it's
No, is it something like it's just beginning to be summer here in Thailand? And that was news to me, right? I did not know that. I thought it was fucking hot this whole time.
No, we're actually in autumn. We're in autumn now. We passed summer.
Weird. Okay.
It's so behind.
And here it's like just starting to get hot, right? Like where 45 degrees is normal.
Still really hot now. Like we're going 30 plus most days here, and it's autumn. Like it's
okay.
Nuts.
Hey Haley. Yeah. Haley's on. We're just waiting for Jared and Brianna. Haley, but there she is. So Haley Dlashmit's a fellow up and coming influencer and has a giggle that can fucking
settle down, Chuck.
Whatever, right? You just wait till Brianna's here. I typically spend these live streams.
Yes, Haley, he doesn't know his time zones. I jumped on at 8 this morning, and then,
totally my bad. Yeah.
Like 2 hours early.
No kidding, right? No kidding. Yeah. So, how you doing over there, Damian? Looks like you might be having some struggle.
Yeah, I'm just I'm like working on connecting it. It's saying it's giving me a little bit of an issue, but I think I can like get it from my phone.
It wants your password and you don't remember your password, doesn't it?
No, I forgot my password.
Nobody ever has their password. Do you know what the password hack is? I've been doing this for like 10 years now.
No, please tell me.
Take a word and then a symbol and then a number. And whenever you have to add a new one, you just count up from that number. So
just make it like 2 or 3 or whatever.
Yeah, mine was dog at 1, then it was dog at 2, then it was dog at 3. So whenever I have to fucking like, oh, what password is it? I just start counting and eventually it'll come. Right?
No, it's showing my Facebook. It's showing it, but it's saying we're having trouble connecting to your Facebook account. There may be an issue with Facebook. Please try connecting again and contact us if this continues. We're here to help.
God, yeah, real tech issues over there, David.
No kidding, eh? Yeah. I don't know. I haven't come across that one personally. So yeah.
I've been having technical issues all day. Just it's my day today.
Yeah. Oh, hey Dave, how are you, buddy? David's another influencer who's in to join. Make sure you share this out, guys. Much appreciated when you do. David just did a skydive for awareness. Was it to overdose, David, or what was it? It was just awesome, though. Awesome, right? Yeah.
That's wicked.
Yeah. Just like a massive whole bunch of people, and he did it in like 3 days. He set it all up. It was crazy, right? But,
3 days. Jesus Christ.
When was
it wasn't 3 days, it was like 2 weeks or something, but I like to hyperbolize.
Wasn't it just overdose awareness day? When was that? Black Balloon Day?
Yeah. Just the other day, and I missed it. I feel like a bag of shit for missing it. Usually,
me too. I fucked that up.
Oh, look, I didn't even know this was a thing. So
it's a thing over in the US. Those Westerners, don't worry about them, Haley.
Yeah, we just make up days. We got like a holiday. We're like Black Balloon Day or whatever.
Yeah, it's a real thing for sure. Yeah. No, Black Balloon Day is about awareness for people that we've lost overdose. Yeah. Right. So it's a real serious thing, and it's a lot of moms these days, right? You guys aren't experiencing. We've talked about this, Paris, but refresh my memory. You guys aren't having the same type of fentanyl epidemic that we are.
Not to the same degree as you guys, definitely not. But look, it's still happening here. There's still a lot of ODs happening here, but not to the same degree as you guys over.
I wonder if that's just a matter of time, or if geography, or whatever, some other factor, right? But yeah, it's horrible, right? 300,000 or 100,000 in the US, 7,000 in Canada every year. Like, it's crazy. Right?
It's insane.
Yeah,
it's a 747 falls out of the sky every day. Right. That's one way right. If you think about that, right, it makes COVID look like a fucking joke. Yeah. Right. And no resources are going into it.
Yeah.
Right? Like it's yeah. I mean,
Well,
I shouldn't say.
Well, I feel like with a lot of governments these days, particularly, I'm talking more about the Australian government here, but there's so many ways that they could be using funding to help assist with more resources and supplying more programs and even rehabilitation centers, detox clinics, and they're just not putting the funding in those places. And it's driving me fucking wild. Like, I don't get
short-term
it.
election cycles, right? It's 4-year election cycles. Nobody's thinking long-term. Everybody wants optics, right? We don't want to be seen as being easy on crime and easy on, Dr. Lisa, my weekend coach, who you're going to meet, of course, tomorrow here, Paris. She quite often quotes a study that has been repeated over and over again in different countries around the world. Every dollar you put into treatment, 6 or 10 comes back to the taxpayers in savings, right? Between the penal system and the healthcare system, and right, like if we could just start thinking long term, so even the hardcore conservatives that are bad harm reduction and all about whatever that path, if it's about the money, that adds up too, right? It's not even just about the humanity; it's about the money as well here. Like could we just Right?
I think that's another reason as well that they might not be putting as much money into these kind of resources, is because it doesn't make a lot of money either. So I think that's a huge part of it.
I think, and see, that's a funny thing. Healthcare systems and how they work, and I don't know how they work in Australia. I've gotten a much better understanding of the US, and of course I'm Canadian, but with Canada being a public healthcare country, things like overdose deaths and that are actually really bad. Like the politicians don't want it because it costs a fortune to the system, right? So they don't care if the lobbyists are coming at them from treatment facilities and whatever, or big farmers and all that. It does make a difference in Canada. They have different drivers here, or there, I should say, being in Thailand now. But and of course in the US, the whole for-profit thing that drives so much of everything there, and correct me if I'm wrong, Damian, but right, is kind of the driver. You have to question motives on everything
100%.
when everything is driven by profit, right? Big pharma can get in the pocket of a politician or into doctors. Look, that's what caused the opioid epidemic in the first place, right? Was profit driven shit. That never happens here in Canada. A doctor would never take a kickback from a pharmaceutical company. Like that would be the end of their career forever, and it's been that way since the healthcare system started, right, in Canada. So yeah.
Yeah, we've got the Medicare public health system. So a lot of our services we do get covered, but there's just not enough of it. There's not enough of it. So the supply doesn't meet the demand. Like they're having to really categorize people on whether they think they are high risk enough to get the assistance. So there's a lot of people falling in between the gaps. It's wild because there's things that could be done that are preventative, but because they're not critical enough when they approach these services, it's not until they get critical and they get into these really severe points that now then they take them in. Yeah, it's nuts.
Shit is fucked. Right?
Shit is seriously fucked, honestly. And this is exactly the whole point of the podcast, man. It is fucked. And I've got one beautiful friend who really struggles with severe mental health, has attempted suicide multiple times over the last couple of weeks, and she's still not considered severe enough because she has a home, she can get food, she's not considered high risk. And I was like, this is a joke. She can't get admitted.
Let's wait until you're on the edge, right? Like,
and she is. She's already attempted 5-6 times over the last 2 weeks, and they still won't take her.
That is just asinine. It's almost hard to believe when you say things like that, right? So
I know it's so fucked up. It makes me so angry, and it's just I'm just trying to make as much noise as I can because I'm fucking over it. I'm so over seeing people slip through the gaps, and it's preventative. Help them when they can.
Yeah, right. Sorry, I moved you up top there. I just figured out how to do it. So.
What did I walk in on? On top of you?
Sorry. How you doing? Ooh, what's with the glasses? You got some specs appeal going on? What's that all about? Okay.
So my eyes have been driving me crazy lately.
That's Jared. You can call him whatever you want to. Okay. Yeah.
They're just blue light glasses. So staring at the screen at work and recording and stuff like that. So
just fucking nerded right out. Hey,
Everything's
just
blurry
nerded.
anyways.
I love it. I love it. Yeah. Hey, Damien, how'd you go? Did you get it set up, or are we just giving up on that? What's?
I'll try one more time. Let's see what it says.
Yeah.
Hi, Damien.
If not, just share out the link and whatever from one of the platforms, and we're good.
Oh, hey. Happy International Women's Day to everybody.
Oh, that was yesterday for me.
Oh, it's funny too because like I felt compelled to say it to some lady I've never seen at my job before. Never seen her. Don't even know who she is. And I gave her a free slice of pizza, and she goes, "What's this for?" I go, "It's International Women's Day, and I just want you to know you're a badass." And she started crying. She's like, "I had a really horrible day today, and you just made my day so much better."
Sure, I make women cry, and I go on probation. You make them cry, and everybody's all like, "Yay, Brianna!" Right? Yeah. Fuck's sakes, right?
But it shows you like the power of a smile or just doing something.
Hey, Jennifer,
kind.
how you doing?
And it was a nasty piece of pizza. I was gonna throw it away and make a fresh one. I was like, "Oh, hey, let me box this up and give it to you."
I mean, you just never know what someone's going through. Hey,
Exactly. And she like started crying, and she's like, "I had a bad day," and I told her, I said, "You know what? Universe has a funny way of doing things." I go, "You had a hard day, but you made it through it because it's International Women's Day and you're a badass." She goes, "I'm going to remember that." I go, "Good."
Fuck yeah. You would have made her day.
Hey, I just want to take a quick, we were talking about David here. David had the, what do we call it exactly, David? Sorry, man. I had it all memorized, ready to go, and then ADHD kicked in. Yes. The first annual HEAL Community Overdose Awareness Skydiving event he had this past Saturday. Have you seen anything about that, Damien?
I have not seen anything about it yet.
No, David took like, I don't know. It wasn't 3 days. I was exaggerating when I said that. But David, you can tell us in the comments what it actually was. But just crazy, like a giant group skydive. He had some influencers out there and everything trying to raise awareness. And he did it in like no time. He put it all together, right? Yeah.
Fucking dope.
So it's awesome. David, one of the things I really like about David is his sense of humor, because like we messaged or we exchanged comments, and he's an amputee, a recent amputee, and I asked him if his favorite letter was R, and he didn't hate me for it. So it's like, you have a sense of humor, and we can be friends, right? Yeah.
What's going on?
Hello.
Hi, Paris. What's up, Damien?
All right, it connected finally.
Yeah. Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Okay, nice. All
Yo,
right,
what's
all
up?
right.
I see we got Cooley in. We got Kittens in there. What's up? Hey, David.
Of course, Kids and Cooley are in there together.
Haley. What's up, Haley?
Yeah, Dave set up that dive in 2 weeks. That's what it was. 2 weeks. Yeah.
Yeah, it sucks that we weren't able to be there to like support, but I won't jump, but I'll be there to support next year.
I
for
ain't
sure.
jumping out of a perfectly good airplane for fucking nothing.
Bro,
Right?
that's a 50-50 shot. My fucking chute's gonna open.
Yeah, right. Yeah, it's not
tell
happening.
you, bro.
Yeah,
Shut up.
I
absolutely.
couldn't handle the happiness that comes from it. I feel like my heart would explode.
Yeah,
There you go.
I'm gonna pass out
That's
before
going to be
I
my
hit
new
the road.
excuse. Right
I
there.
could
That's
barely
gonna
even
be my new
snowboard
excuse.
without the adrenaline making me feel like I was gonna die. So skydiving, I die before I hit the ground.
There you go.
Haley
guys,
says, Brianna, we're going.
Hey,
Nice.
before we jump into the episode here, guys, and this is behind the curtain stuff, but whatever, you guys are in early, you get to see it. At the end of the episode, I guess you guys have never either of you have never seen an end of my episode, or have you, Paris? You might have by now.
Not the end.
No.
of an
No,
episode
okay.
yet.
Everybody, like, I put everybody on the spot when I say that. It's like, hey, fuck, I barely watch anybody's shit aside from my own, so whatever, right? No excuses needed.
Asshole.
Hey, I watched the interview with Mike. That was awesome, by the way. Mike Miller interview. Check
Thank
that
you.
out on the Blacklist, guys, if you're paying attention, because that was a hell of an episode. Anyway, at the end of the episode, when you hear me say use the words, you say you are loved. That's all you got to do.
In sync, in unison.
Just
All right,
say
I
it.
think I
It
can
doesn't matter.
manage.
All right, let me you
Use the words. Yeah.
you ready to roll this intro?
Do the intro, bro. Do the thing.
All right.
Yeah.
We're gonna roll this intro and we shall be right back. Once I get to it. Video clip. Here it is.
Just making it awkward. Come on. Rest in
And
peace.
rest in peace. Yeah, I was gonna say rest in peace, Earl Van. If Ma Van's listening, we love you. I gotta plug this real quick. You know, Chuck, I gotta plug it. In 2 weeks, we're going to Kensington, PA, to do an outreach with Ma Van and Hope on Deck. So if
Awesome.
anybody is in the Kensington, Philadelphia area and would like to volunteer to do the outreach with us, please reach out, DM one of us. And yeah, that's my
Shit,
plug.
So yeah, you guys, Earl Van was the Hope on Deck creator and founder and all that. I maybe alongside his mom, Jared. Correct me if I'm wrong with that. But,
Yeah.
And he, what was that, about 2 months ago now? 2.5 months.
Yeah.
He relapsed and passed immediately. So that was a guy in that video there.
Sucks.
So
Terrible.
So we honor his memory by sharing that at the beginning of every episode. So
And we make people cry.
yeah, right.
Chuck
I still
does.
well up,
Specifically
right?
Chuck.
You know? Yeah, I'm a softie, whatever.
No, it's
So
all
look
good.
at this. I ordered something off of Amazon and it came in a clear bag.
That's weird. Don't do that to me, Amazon. Oh fuck,
Right?
No.
I mean, it's just a black shirt, but that's just weird that it was in. I'm like, Jared, you open this? He's like, no. It literally came in a clear bag. I'm ignoring you, Chuck.
Oh, geez, hey, no, it's for her. It's not for me, right? Yeah, okay. Anyway,
It's too good.
Man, Jesus Christ, it's what?
what's going on? What's happening?
No, just it's been a long 2 days, man.
Yeah,
It's been
Yeah.
definitely a long 2 days. You know, so you know how you and I were talking earlier about what we were going to choose a topic on.
yeah.
And I had an idea on something that we experienced last night. How should I say the topic? Babe, we're trying to do this. Come on. Sorry, her
Sorry.
her
I'm sorry.
ADD gets her. So one of the things I do want to talk about is not details on what happened last. Babe, Jesus Christ.
We use your words, Jared. Use
No.
your words.
So I'm trying to figure out, like, is it boundaries? Is it being like, if somebody burns? Okay, here it is. No, hold on.
Just lay it out.
Brianna's gonna say it. She can do it better than me because we talked about this for a topic, but I forgot how to like say it because guess what? I'm not fucking grammatic or anything.
She's better with her mouth. Is that what you're saying?
She is very much better.
You get used to it, guys. You gotta know your
For
new
me,
thing.
so she'll probably say it in a different way, but for me, what I want to kind of bounce off people's heads too is if people burn you once and you try they try to weasel their way back into your life and you give them another chance and they burn you again, at what point do you just walk away? But Brianna has a better way to explain it.
So I'm going to answer that real quick and then I'll explain it.
Okay.
I think it's knowing where to set those boundaries when somebody shows you who they are. You can still be cordial with them and you can still be friends with them, but you know where to put that boundary now.
Yeah.
You know, but I think it's also too, like, I know a lot of us, in the recovery community, we come across people that are in recovery as well. But we also have a desire to help those that are still sick and suffering.
Fuck yeah.
And we know how we were. This person, like, I've looked at him before and I've related myself to him. You drank all the alcohol, but I'm still going to go through all those bottles and make sure there's nothing left.
Yeah.
Type deal. Like, I see myself in this person. Me and Jared have been there trying to help him. But we were shitty people when we used. And we treated people like shit.
Yep.
Do you deal with those people treating you like shit because you know it's just the drugs and alcohol?
I think when you know,
Or
that
do you
that's
have
what
to
it
step back?
is, when you know that that's what it is, I mean, boundaries are there to protect you and them. I mean, if you lay out an unrealistic boundary and you know you're going to break it, and you break it, you've done more harm than good. Might as well just not made it in the first place, right? So people are they're going to tell you what they're about and what's going on in their life, and you got to make boundaries to protect yourself from that from happening, right? If you leave your cash out on the table and somebody steals it, and then you leave your cash out on the table and the same guy steals it, let's pull it together, right? Don't do that. Don't put them in a position to do that. Don't make them, not make them, but don't leave them in there. to
But
do it,
that's why,
right?
like, if you set that boundary and you just give them as much of you, and then they cross the
Hold
boundary,
on, what's that noise?
I don't
I
know.
don't know.
It
I
sounds
just
like
assumed
it sounds like fucking Darth Vader.
I thought it was
I did-
Paris
I heard
keeps dying at us. Is what I thought it was. I thought she was-
Somebody's microphone is.
Someone's sighing in the
I thought Paris
microphone.
was going like, God, whatever, right?
No,
You know?
I'm just being serious.
I
'cause
get that all the time from
it was
women. It's like
getting
the
really
go-to. So I don't know, right? I
confusing.
just
Well,
assumed
see,
it's-
so
yeah.
not even like that though, Haley, because sometimes you set the boundaries for yourself because now okay, well, I'm trying to help you, but I can't help you to that extent.
Yeah.
So now we're going to put some more distance there,
Hey.
and it's not even that you have to tell them that.
Let's open that up a bit more. But before we do that, how about we introduce our esteemed,
Sorry.
if you will, guests?
I guess we
right?
just jumped
Yeah.
right into
I
it.
have so much to say about this too.
I got that. Like,
Sorry, guys.
we're all content creators, so we all got shit to say, right? We're all just like, go, it's my turn.
Sorry, guys.
You're being really fucking polite. Don't be polite. Please don't be polite. That's not a thing we do here. I will interrupt you in a heartbeat. I have zero fucking oof.
Likewise, I'm sorry.
Okay, so God, I just can't stop myself.
Chuck, why
sometimes.
don't you introduce your guest?
Okay, well, Paris was my bring to the table this time. Paris is a content creator with a podcast called Shit's Fucks. Missing a couple vowels to make it easy to put up on Facebook. Right?
Mhm.
So yeah, right.
Yep.
Paris has
And,
some different ideas about recovery, which of course we do love on BlakAsh Radio. So I think it's fantastic. And if you hadn't noticed from her accent, she is down under in Australia and an hour ahead of me, which has never happened on the show before. We've never had somebody
Yeah.
Oh wow!
further into the future than me. So yay.
Yeah.
Right.
And our pick was Damian Vickers, he aka Path of Dog. We had him on the podcast the other night, and he's a recovery coach and just a hell of a dude. We had a really good time talking to him. We were excited. So and he's coming out of
motherfucker too.
Austin, Texas. Yeah, you don't want to fuck with him.
I'm telling you though,
I'm
the
really
looks-
that whole
I just have
Jesus.
tattoos, bro.
the whole I'll take your burger vibe on him. Like just fucking,
Do you,
right? Yeah.
Chuck, hold on. I have a question. I have a little
Yeah.
game to play with you right now.
Oh, I like
Chuck.
games. Mhm.
Can you take a guess as to why the tattoos are on his face? Because there's a reason.
Oh, the
Um,
lines, Damien.
Just a
Oh,
line.
Damian's
I was
looking
gonna
like-
say there's so
Oh.
many reasons. There's like my whole life stories on
it's
my
like it's
I-
like 500 different individual
Yeah.
reasons, right? Yeah.
I bet you
Like,
can't guess
no, of
the
course I
reason the
can't
lines
guess
are on
that.
his
How the
face.
fuck could I guess that?
You couldn't get that. There's no way. Planet Earth.
So why don't you tell us, Damian?
I was gonna
Like,
say I don't even know why all the tattoos are. On my face.
I should have specified the lines.
Yeah, I was. The lines were from when I was in the circus. These were like lines that I had because we used to do that back in the circus. So that's
Fucking Chuck.
That's why he's his
you were in the circus?
Yeah.
oh yeah.
Did we just become best friends?
Dude, oh, we with each other, bro.
You might have met Chuck in the
Holy fuck,
circus.
right? I'm
So,
just
like,
fucking excited now.
you
You're in
get
the
those-
circus. Okay.
They didn't make him get those on his face. He put the
Well, I
lines on.
imagine there's a fucking labor law or labor board somewhere that would have a problem with that.
They're
Right?
like,
Yeah.
if you want to be in the circus, you have to have these face tattoos.
Yeah.
Gotta commit.
Yeah. Okay.
Well,
Okay.
welcome to both of the guests. Thank you guys so much for being here tonight.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
I had to pick this one up from work, so sorry we were late.
I work till 9 on Fridays.
Yeah. Well, worse things have happened to better people. I am sure. I am
Yep.
sure.
Yeah, like you getting lost at the food cart a couple weeks ago.
What's that? Well,
Like you getting lost at the food cart
Okay.
a couple weeks ago.
it was like 15 minutes till we were supposed to come on. I went to go get a smoothie because that's my thing now, right? I get smoothies. And I come back, what, half an hour, 40 minutes later, something like that?
Yeah.
I had a flat tire, had to get the thing changed. And we had to wake up a guy in his house. Like I'm in Thailand, right? Like we had to, like, so the person that owns the smoothie place, he's like, oh, follow me. So to drive my scooter with the flat tire on it over to this guy's house, we have to wake him up. He rolls a joint before he gets started. I'm like, holy fuck, man. And then like, this is time's ticking. I'm like, guys, I got to go. Can one of you give me a quick ride home? Like double me home. And he's like, yeah, okay. So the guy with the working scooter pulls it out of his way. They roll this other one out. It won't start. Now they have to change the fucking battery. But before we change the battery, you know what we're going to do? We're going to roll another fucking joint. I was like, is this happening right now? Like, is this actually? And I'm like, it's fucking jumping out of my
amazing.
boots, right? Like, let's go, right? So anyway. we
Yeah,
got it
you know, it's funny because normally when I got to pick her up, like he'll start the live, and like we come back and it's like 9:10, and I'm like,
And who was on there with us?
it
Who
was
on there that week?
Scotty, or not Scotty, it was Chad and Haley, right?
Yeah, I think so. I think
Yeah.
so. That sounds right.
And then
Yeah.
Chad got kicked out. Haley couldn't let him back in, so she's sitting here just talking to herself.
It was Higgy. It was Higgy.
Higgy and Haley.
It was
Higgy and
Higgy
Chad.
and Haley.
Oh, Higgy and Haley. Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Anyways, I come back and I'm like, you guys haven't started live yet, so shit.
Jared
Anyways.
had to add Higgy back in and stuff. It was just
So
mess.
David Riggins, he's a good friend. He's been on the show.
He's the one that jumped
He
out
said,
of
one of these Friday nights, I'd like to hop on with y'all. I respect Chuck, and I've been on with Jared and Brianna before.
you know what? That's funny because I was just
No
thinking
better way
we
to
got to
start
invite
it.
David earlier. I was thinking we got to get that guy on, right? He's making some waves in the
Yeah,
I think David would be fun on a game night too.
yeah.
Yeah.
He was on our show. Oh shit, it's been like 6 months since we've recorded, and all that.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
you definitely got to get him on, Chuck.
Absolutely. Let's message me up there, Dave. We'll talk about it. Okay, so back to the topic at hand, and I guess, Brenna, if you don't mind, I'm going to leave that cut off, and I'm going to we'll go to ladies first because
Absolutely.
chivalry's
Paris
not dead.
She has a lot
Right?
to say
So
about it.
Paris,
so.
you said I have a lot to say about it. So go, Jared, start the 1 minute buzzer. Okay, go. Yeah.
Okay. So I guess it's a tough one because it's something I talked about with my sister on a previous episode of mine about, the impacts that addiction can have on your loved ones around you. And, essentially they can become carers as well for you, and they have to have their own support and they need their own way to look after themselves while looking after you. But it's really tricky because if you've got someone who's in the depths of addiction and is dealing with, maybe aggressive outbursts or just really being quite harmful to people around them, you do have to set those boundaries. But it's like, how do you set those boundaries? What are the best ways to tackle it? I find, letting them know you're still there and that you love them, but maybe you can't have contact with them for a while. That's an okay boundary. And people get scared to do that because they're worried that, they're going to lose them or they're going to push them away. But you can't allow someone to come in who's unwell and is causing you harm to keep doing these things. Like, you have to look after yourself. Like, you can't pour from an empty cup. So you need to make sure that you're constantly looking after yourself, filling up your cup. But it doesn't mean that you have to necessarily say goodbye to them. It could be goodbye for now, but as soon as you start getting on track and you're wanting to do better, I'm here with open arms. And so that's something that my family did a lot for me when I was going through. So I struggled with a lot of meth addiction and alcoholism, and I was an absolute nightmare. And I definitely caused a lot of pain and a lot of hurt. And it wasn't just to my family, it was to friends as well. And I've hurt a lot of people over the years, and people have had to say goodbye to me, but now coming on the other side, I was like, thank God that they did that for themselves. Like, I can see now in hindsight, now I'm out of it, how much damage I was actually causing those people, how much hurt I was bringing. And I mean, I was a hurt person, just expressing my hurt, really, at the end of the day, my own suffering. I was projecting it. And we have to do the best that we can in those situations, and to remind ourselves that it is okay to set very strong boundaries, even boundaries of no contact. Doesn't mean that you don't love them and that you're not going to be there for them at the end of the day. But you have to protect yourself at the end of the day. You really do.
And I agree with most of which I have actually some strong feelings about a couple of those things, but I want to hear Damian's thoughts on kind of your initial kickoff thoughts about this, Damian. We'll go from there.
I was just talking to a friend about this yesterday because they were talking to me about picking up phone calls from people that are calling who are drunk or high at the time. Like, for me, especially when I first got sober, like, I felt like I owed everyone. So like, my house was a kick dope on my couch house, and then what was happening was I was ending up building so much resentment because I'd let everyone in my house to get well, and then they steal my shit or they just leave everything a mess. Well, now that I have a family, it's no-go 100%. Like, I have to protect my sobriety, because there's so many times that I'd end up finding a fucking needle and a bag of dope in my couch. I just had to be I have to keep myself safe. And then what I've been finding that I do really a lot is like, I'm here for you the next morning. You know, like I don't want to talk to you when you're spun out on meth. It's 3 a.m. and you say you want to talk about sobriety and you do this every single night with me, you know, like, but the second that you come out of this, like, I don't know, like in AA, the big book gives me like some really clear cut directions on like how I'm going to deal with this. So it's like, if homeboy's calling me and he's all drunk and crying, I love you, man. Absolutely. And I'm here for you. And like, call me in the morning, you know, like, and let's talk. And I'll do that with someone. Like there's people that I've been working with for years, you know, and they relapse, and I needed that. But also when everyone cut me off, that was hugely helpful to me. It hurt the most, you know, it was like a terrible time in my life when everyone's like, I just can't keep doing this with you. But it also pushed me to kind of see a little bit of how I was behaving. So I agree with Paris. I'm totally about like, I absolutely love you, and I got to cut you off right now. Like, you are totally fucking up my life right now, and I can't have that. And I love you. And when you want to get better, I'll take you to detox. I'll help you get anything you need. I will do anything in the world for you to get sober. But I'm not going to send you $15 because you're hungry or your tires popped or whatever. And I'm not going to sit on the phone with you all night while you're high. I just can't do that anymore. You know, like my time can be used more wisely somewhere else. So I just try to keep it that way personally.
Well, I mean,
Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, like, it also is like they're also not gonna sit there and talk shit and disrespect you either because they're drunk or high or this, that, and the third. Like the situation that we encountered last night, like it was pretty intense. Like the cops ended up getting called and whatnot, but it was like I was gonna be like, dude, we need to talk when you're sober. Like we can't talk right now because there's no getting through when somebody is that intoxicated and whatnot. And it was just like
this person was so on my face they basically kissed me, and I'm surprised Jared didn't say anything.
I would have went to jail if I touched him. So
I touched him.
Well, yeah, no, but the thing is it's like I've been disrespected by this person before and almost fought, this, and I was like, you know what? You're drunk. All right, sleep it off. But this is like a common pattern. And I'm like, at what point is it that it's like, dude, like we're done. Like I can't do this with you no more. I think
like Damian said too, like maybe we should have, instead of being so forthcoming and going, realizing the time and what state he was probably in, I think it would have been a lot better for us to be like, no. Not right now.
Boundary
right we didn't know that because he called and was just like, was like, yo, we need, like, can you come over? We need to talk. So we went over there, out of like, we weren't expecting what happened. But so okay, cool. Like what's going on? Yada, yada, yada. And then next thing you know, we got two people that are drunk and high that are, in our face. And so it's like, at what point do we stop? I not stop caring because like Brianna says, I see so much of myself in this guy. Like I took him in to try to truly help him, but I get disrespected the way it did. Not even
to help, just to show him that there are people that care.
Right. And you have to protect you have to protect your sobriety or your recovery, whatever that looks like for you. First and foremost, I think, Damian, when you said that, you nailed it, right? Because without that, we're all fucked, right? That
Let me find Craig real quick. Craig, I did palm him. I palmed him in the face.
Okay, there you go.
But I did.
Yeah, so like you have to put your mask on first. That whole cliche thing, and I think we can all just agree on that without opening that up too much, right? When it comes to cutting somebody off from communication, that is kind of where my it has to be pretty bad, right? It has to be really, really bad for me. The "you are loved" thing, right? It just perceived lack of connection was the last 2 years of my active addiction. Believing I wasn't loved. I could have disappeared. Nobody would have known for months, right? And and so I'm hyper sensitive to that idea for anybody, right? And you're right. I'm not going to sit on the phone with somebody who's drunk. It's not going to happen. Nope.
Yeah.
Hey, I just got no. That's not even a boundary thing. That's a tolerance thing. I just got no time for that shit anymore.
Yeah, it's annoying. It's just literally terrible.
Annoying.
I was like, did I sound like this?
We've dealt with him in that state before, and this person being intoxicated and stuff like that. And it's us knowing the state of mind that person's in.
Yeah, right.
We know we
you
know
know, I'll
what
get back
to
to you in the
say,
morning.
but not to get into, if they want to talk about something, oh yeah, cool. We're not going to tell them while you're drunk. No, you're wrong for doing that because we know it's going to escalate.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
I'll talk to you in the
at a
morning.
different
It's a great
Yeah.
way to just kind of end that.
And I completely hear what you're saying as well, Chuck, with the no contact, because it is.
Yep.
I'm saying this like it's easier said than done. Like, just cut them off. Like, it'll be fine. Like, it's definitely not that easy. And the reason that I've even had to come to some points with that for myself and another family member is because I realized that I'd let them in so much. I was very mindful of not wanting them to feel abandoned, and because I know what that feels like. I've been cut off before, and it's very isolating, and you don't want to feel like, everyone's just giving up on me, so like, fuck it, I'll just give up, like, you know what I mean? So I'm very mindful of that as well. But I got to a point with this family member where I was like, you are seriously disrupting my life, like to the point where I cannot function. Like, I can't function properly having any contact with you. Like, you are just.
It comes back to that's you looking after your recovery, right?
Exactly.
100%.
And that's not an easy decision for me to make. I felt really guilty when I made that decision, and I felt so much. I really was trying not to abandon them. I could see how much trouble they were in. They were really struggling, and like, they just weren't mentally well at all. And I did my best from afar. I tried so hard to put services in their direction. The police were called a lot, lots of welfare checks. I tried to do as much as I could from the outside, but I just couldn't have this person have direct contact to me because they were just
which just makes sense, right? Which just makes sense. And I think the reality of today, and this is something I've caught some shade over, and that's fine. And maybe Damian, I understand that you're pretty hardcore 12-step guy, so.
Ish, I mean, I'm pretty open to like all paths. Like, to be totally
fair
honest,
enough, right?
It's just it's my foundation.
And that's, if you're expected to be open to everybody else's path, everyone else better be open to yours. And if hardcore,
no one has to do shit, but like, it just worked for me.
Yeah, right. We have to be accepting, and I feel that we should be accepting of everybody's. But that it's not even that really part that I'm addressing. It's that rock bottom thing. If you've been sober for 5 years, right? If you and whatever your time in, I'll use 5 years, a little bit more, a little bit less, whatever. The reality now is very, very different because of the opioid epidemic, right? So letting people hit rock bottom, waiting for people to hit rock bottom is waiting for death.
Yes.
Right. Like, and that's just the way it is now. Right. Right. So it's actually something that I get really fucking worked up over. Right. It's like, to put it in perspective, I've got 16 months in me now. So I stopped collecting people from the lifestyle 16 months ago. I've had way more than 16 of those messages come. Like, that's how fucking bad it is. So when a family says, I'm done with you, come back to me when you've hit that rock bottom, the gift of desperation. I fucking hate that term. Like, I just hate it. Right. Because when we're talking about something that hasn't happened yet, if we say rock bottom, let's just say hit death. Let's just change the verbiage and watch the people's reaction. Right. So Damian, you've definitely got something to say on that. I'll bounce back to you. Right.
Well, yeah, I just want to say, man, and we've been talking, like, so I was working at a treatment center before this, and we talked so much, and my entry into recovery this time was through Suboxone to Sublocade off. So I went that route. I needed that because I was going to die. You know what I mean? And like, for me, I don't give a shit how someone gets there. And you're exactly right. Because it's like, let's say AA used to be like, let them go out and drink and see if they can drink like a gentleman. Bro, it's fentanyl nowadays. That's death, dude. And I've seen too many 15 to 19-year-olds that we buried. And I mean, dozens of them. And I agree with you 100%. I don't give a fuck how we got to do this anymore. I don't care if you want to do it through anything, literally. Let's keep you alive for long enough that you can find whatever path suits you. I'm 100% with you. And that should be the biggest discussion right now, is this shit is not working the same when it did in the 40s with bathtub gin as fucking fentanyl, point blank, period. And I think everyone needs to open their eyes and minds to anything that works. It's new, it's old, it's whatever. It's like, let's try to keep people alive, man. And that is going to take a ton of love and a lot of open-mindedness and no more hard. That's like, I'm not a hardcore 12-step guy. 12 steps just is one of the paths that worked for me. But at the end of the day, I also did I did ketamine infusions. I did everything. I just didn't want to die. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And if someone would have been like, no, there's only this one way. You can't take psych meds. You can't take fucking Suboxone. Like, fuck that, dude. Like, I do not. Because you're exactly right. Fentanyl rock bottom is death, period. And like,
yep.
and then what's the path from there? Nothing. It's calling someone's mom and having to say your fucking 15-year-old son's dead. The worst phone call in the world. You know? So I'm with you 100%. Fuck gift of desperation. Fuck rock bottom. Like, I'll love someone through all of it. And I just mean, like, I have to personally cut someone off, like what they were saying. Like, I can't go to a house and fight some drunk dude anymore because then I'm in prison. What am I doing with that? But I'll love someone through literally anything to the extent that I can. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely. I think that's the biggest thing as well, is making sure that people do know that they are still loved. Like, even with this family member of mine, the way that I cut contact was, I love you so much. Like, I'm seeing your struggles. Like, this is hard for me to even witness, but I have to step back because this is hurting me so much. But I want you to get better. Like, reach out to me when you're ready to take those steps. I will hold your fucking hand, like, through it all. But yeah, it's just really being mindful because, as you said, like, you know, cutting someone off and letting them hit rock bottom, it can be a death sentence for sure. Like, and it's something to be mindful of.
Damn straight it is. Damn straight, right? It's so scary out there now. It's just, yeah, it's awful. It's awful. In your experience, Damian, is the 12-step culture becoming more forgiving of or accepting of other paths? Or is it? I haven't been in the rooms in a long time.
I just think there's sects of us that are like, I just think individuals are doing it. You know what I mean? Like, and for me, it's like, that's why I don't get too tied into anything. Cause at the end of the day, it's like, there's people and there's gonna be people. I was talking to a girl today and like her boyfriend, they told him he shouldn't be on psych meds in the rooms. And he like jumped off psych meds cold turkey. And that could have fucking killed. Like, you're not a doctor. So dangerous. Bro. Yeah, people can't be talking like they know what they're talking about.
You're a fucking drywaller, right? You're going to tell me to stop taking my medication, right? Like, you know,
insane. So I don't want to speak for anything because I'm not a representative of absolutely anything. You know, this is just like a part of a path that worked for me. And so I think there's some people, but I think it just depends on how it hits. Like, I just lost one of my best friends and cousins last year to fentanyl. You know, so it's like, my connection to fentanyl and death is so close to home because so many people I love are dying from this shit. I'm like,
it just changes everything, right?
Yeah, I don't care. Like, I have family members right now. They're trying to get sober. And they're like, I don't want to do the 12 steps. I'm like, I don't fucking care what you do. Just do something. Let's do anything. Go see a psychiatrist. Go do something. Just don't die. Just don't die doing nothing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I don't have the answer. That's the scariest part is I don't think anyone, we're all just like going like, what do we do? We're all in brand new territory. This new fentanyl thing is so new and so deadly and so scary that it's like I remember like I was talking to them about like the difference between like smoking heroin and shooting heroin. And now it's like my little cousin who died, he was smoking fentanyl and he thought you can't die from smoking it, you know? And so it's like, it's just such a new world. And I think we all need to just like stop and go like, how do we do this? Well, that's what these conversations.
That canned response of, well, this worked. What I had to do, the gift of desperation did for me. And that is like, as soon as I see that, I'm just like, man, like, it was different. That was 20 years ago.
Yeah.
Right. Like,
well, yeah, that was before the fucking fentanyl epidemic and all that shit.
Right. Like, it's not, I'm glad that it worked for you. I'm very, very glad. But like, that was, it's not even relevant.
Yeah.
Right. To today's reality. Right. Because everybody's a minute away from dying.
Absolutely.
Right. You know, right. Like if I don't hear, there's some friends I still have from the life. And if I message them and that message doesn't deliver for 24 hours, you know, you can see on Messenger, the check mark or whatever, my heart drops. It breaks. Right. Because you're like, nah, it happened. It finally happened. You know, and then you see it deliver and it's like, I don't even care if they respond. I see that they're online and I'm so happy. You know, and you're just like, oh, thank you, right? It's just, there's another chance for this person. And that's the reality now, right? Like that's what we're living in. So, you know,
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think we just need to be lowering the barrier of entry for anything, for
Yeah.
everyone. To just like, who
100%.
gives a fuck? Like, are you willing to do anything? And then let's cater this to you. Like
Yeah.
what do you need? What do you like? What path? How can I like I'm a peer recovery specialist. Like I have my like certification in that. And that whole thing's about multiple paths. It's about harm reduction. It's about like, okay, you're shooting dope. Can I get you to smoke? Like, what can we do? Can we get you on Suboxone? Like, is there anything you want to smoke weed? Fuck it. I don't give a shit. Like, I don't know anyone that died from smoking weed. I don't care what you do, bro. Like, I think lower the barrier of entry. Let's keep you alive. And then let's keep you alive long enough that you can figure out what works. And I got plenty of friends that are sober a million different ways. And I don't ever call them and be like, hey, I think you can change the way you're doing this. Or go doing dope. You know, like, God bless. Let's rock.
It's all about
I agree with you 100%, Damian.
Yeah. It's all about having a mutual understanding when it comes to the paths of recovery, you know, like,
Mutual
you know,
respect, right?
mutual respect, you know, it's like, you know, we got multiple friends and influencers in this space where they recover way differently than I, and but we respect each other and we understand that we do what works for us in our own recovery. You know, like one of the things I look at it is like when somebody's trying to get sober and they say they do go to an AA or NA meeting and they get shunned because, you know, they're on some other, you know, they're on smoke weed or they're on, you know, Suboxone or some shit like that. And then they get so discouraged and they go home and they use it and then they overdose and die because they're, you know, the one place that they went to seek help at basically just said, fuck you. You know, I'm not putting words in people's mouths, but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So that's why we're so open
What is the
about
rule? What is it? The price of admittance into any meeting? The desire.
Yeah.
Right. It's
I
just the
think
desire
Damian-
to use. And nowhere in there does it say you have to be clean when you walk in here. It just says the desire to.
I mean, they're there.
Right,
They're there
you know?
for a reason. If they're there, then they're there. So why the fuck are you gonna knock somebody for trying to get sober?
I think Damian said the two most important words: harm reduction.
Yeah.
And that's what it boils down to, is just harm reduction.
Mm-hmm. For me, abstinence has been the path, right? And it's had to, just because, right? It's just funny. I'm going to switch gears for a second. Paris and I were talking when I told her the recording was, or the episode was 2 hours earlier than it was. She's on her let me tell you, she is not tardy. She is on that shit. And so.
He told me she was on like way long ago.
Yeah. Oops.
It's already been on, guys.
So I'm in Thailand, as you wouldn't have any reason to know already, Damian, previous to this recording or this live stream. But I'm in
World don't
Thailand.
revolve around you, Chuck.
Well, yeah, kind of does, right? You know, I'm just saying, but maybe. Right. Anyway, around Christmas, of course, this is going to be the first Christmas in 10 more years that I was going to get to go see my family and be like a member of the family, because it's been forever. And I moved halfway around the world in November. Right. And I was just like, fuck. And when Christmas came and I was like, I'm here, I don't speak the language, I don't know anybody. It was hard. It sucked. Right. I had a feeling of loneliness that I hadn't felt since I was using. And weed's legal here now, like in a crazy way. It's like they made it legal. And the next day there was 3 shops on every fucking block. And it's like, I've never had a problem with weed. It's like, maybe I smoke a joint. And I didn't, because I was like, I'm enjoying sobriety. First time since I was 18 years old. I'd never gone 30 days without being sober or without being high or drunk or something, right? I'm enjoying my sobriety. I'm just going to not. And then a few weeks later, when I'm starting, like I'm kind of out of that funk, I'm feeling much better. And I thought about that whole weed thing. It's like, I don't feel like smoking any. And then it dawned on me, I felt like smoking it when I was down in the dumps, when things were shitty. Right. Mm-hmm. Now that things are good, I don't feel like smoking it. So that kind of speaks to why I don't. Right. You know, like it's my whole fucking life has been like that. Right. Where I'm going there, I am doubling back to where we were kind of. When we start talking about alternative paths of recovery, I think for people that are very new in recovery, it can be kind of like this. It's kind of cringy for me sometimes. When I hear somebody say, I can drink a little bit, I can smoke weed, I can do other recreational, mood altering, mind altering, right? Just like, you know, what is that a slippery slope, right? Like, but whatever works for you. I don't know. Maybe, you know, so that's kind of where I sit with it all. Who wants to go first? We'll stick with chivalry. Paris, what do you got?
Well, in regards to that, we've talked about this previously, Chuck.
I know. I know. I was
That's
leading.
why you brought this up.
No, that's an alley-oop. He's just tossed it.
I'm under the bus straight away. So basically, over the last couple of days, I'd even been experiencing a bit of online bullying, which is pretty common, obviously, being in the online space. It's not something I'm, you know, I wasn't new to, but I think what kind of upset me a little bit more than usual, and I actually kind of addressed it on my page as well, is that I really got pegged down a lot and shamed for, even though I'm sober completely from meth, that's been a year that I've been sober from that, I do still mindfully drink. So I've completely changed my relationship with alcohol. I was in the 12-step program at the start. I was abstinent for 3 months, and then I just found myself really becoming this whole other person that I didn't like. Like, I was very filled with fear, and I felt really disempowered. I felt like I had no control over anything. And that's not who I usually am as a person. Like, I am a very empowered person. I am really strong. I'm really fucking resilient, and I can do some hard shit. So the way that I was feeling, it just wasn't resonating. And I was like, I just don't like who I'm becoming. And so I stepped away from the program, and I still wanted to completely reduce my drinking. So from, you know, drinking every day, I wanted it to completely cut down to, you know, a couple of drinks a month, like 2 to 4. And that was a big goal. And I managed to achieve that. I saw how disciplined I became by getting abstinent in the first place within the 12-step program, and managing to change that relationship and how I view alcohol. You know, like, I no longer see it as a coping mechanism. Like, it's not something I turn to when I feel down. Like, you know, that moment that you had, Chuck, with weed, like, I've completely rewired my way of thinking around it. And I don't even think about it. I don't even think about it anymore. We've got it in the house, and I don't even look at it. Like, it's something that I never, ever thought I'd be able to be here. But it's also being, you know, mindful that that's not going to work for everybody else, though. Like, some people are not going to be able to do that. And I completely understand that. And it's not something that I promote either on my podcast. I don't really talk about my mindful drinking, but it was something that I had to address because Danny Shannon, he had posted my before and after photo on his page. And yeah, I had so many nasty comments saying that, you know, I just, you know, was playing mind games of sobriety. I'm not truly sober. You know, I'm still drinking, like, and just really went ham for me. And it was brutal. And yeah, it was just one thing where I was like, you know what, I'm sick of people pointing the fingers at me because I'm not doing things their way and what they think is the right way. And it's happened more than once. And I'm like, fuck, man, like, this, it shouldn't be this way. It's whatever works for the individual. It's a unique experience, and we should just all be supportive no matter what their journey looks like. If it's working for them and they've, you know, there's harm reduction, they've completely changed their harmful patterns of behavior, like, why is that wrong? So yeah, that's what I gotta say about that.
I agree.
Let's address a couple comments here, if you don't mind. This one from Haley. What the fuck? Right? I saw a girl OD at a meeting, and the idiots around her were pissed off.
Oh, that's fucked.
That's not a meeting thing. That's a shitty person thing. I don't even think that's a meeting thing. That's just a shitty person thing. Sorry, but it is, you know, right? I can be pissed off at somebody. Come on, right? Pull it together. I'm sorry. yeah.
What's up, Boston? I saw Boston comment. So
yeah, Boston's in the house here. Boston 2% with the meth Bible. Right. I've seen it happen before. Matt Clinic's parking lot after Matt. Wow. Right. It's crazy. It's crazy. And that's the reality we live in now. Oh, somebody agreeing with me. I had to post that. Sorry. Yeah. Okay.
That doesn't really happen.
Hold on. I gotta share something really cool. So we got a new guy at work that just started today. And he's about 1.5 years. Him and I started talking about recovery, and he's about 1.5 years sober from meth. And I was telling him, about the podcast, and I was like, we do a lot of good stuff. He's like, wow, that's awesome. I'll check it out. And then I was like, yeah. I was like, have you checked out the Meth Bible? He's like, yeah, I just started reading it. And I was like, all right. I was like, well, Patrick, I was like, the guy, who wrote it to become a good friend of ours and whatnot. And I was like, he was just like, yeah, he's like, I just started reading it. So anyways, if you're listening, Patrick, I just want to let you know, the book's getting out there, it's getting around. So it's really cool that more people we meet, that it's
Nice.
there. It's a small world. So I kind of had to share that
Good for you.
in a
Good for
way.
you.
So that's
Yeah.
all. Since he was in here.
Of course.
Wait, what's the Meth Bible? What is this?
Oh,
Right.
here goes.
So
Here
Boston-
goes.
I was going to
Boston-
say something funny about it.
Boston
Boston.
wrote it. So Boston 2% or Patrick Durkin, he wrote the Meth Bible, and it was his experience as a meth addicted cab driver.
Drop the
and
link, Boston.
Boston, drop the link.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
it's on there. It's in there, right there under the microphone stand. I'll show you it right now. So he wrote the book. It's published. It's on Amazon. But right here. Oh, hold on.
Awesome.
That's a horrible. There we go. Right.
Fire and Ice, the Meth Bible. Anyways, so this is blowing up all over TikTok. So
All over everywhere.
I'll have to suss it out.
everywhere. Anyways,
That's
so
crazy.
that was it. So anybody that's listening, Boston dropped it in the comments. So,
There you go.
but since Damian asked, that's
and
it.
Listen,
Yeah.
It is also available for free. You can sign up for a trial and listen to it the audio version of it. as
Sweet,
well.
because I don't want to read no books. All right.
Yep, you can listen to the
Hey,
audio.
I don't
version
think
of it
it's
for
gonna. I
free,
don't think
too.
it's gonna work for you, Chuck, because it's not gonna be in your soulful, sexy voice, though. It's gonna be in some fucking AI British voice.
You should read the book and have Boston pay you to do the
Yo.
audio version of
Any
it.
glass.
Definitely.
Right,
Boston,
another book.
that's
Yeah.
an idea, Boston. You need to link up with Chuck and have him read it.
Oh, there you go. Yeah. okay.
Damn.
Yeah.
Damn.
Fire and Ice, the Meth Bible. Yeah. Okay.
Damn. Jesus.
Kick off my
Jeez.
career as a transcriber. Yeah.
Oh,
also-
boy.
Hi, Rachel. I
Hey.
seen your comment.
Hi, Rachel.
She said hi to
Rachel's
me a
in the
minute
house.
ago. I forgot to say hi back.
She's from Addict with a Purpose, guys. Check out her platform. She's awesome. She has a vibe in the morning
Yeah.
that will make you smile every day. Every day. Yes. She does that good morning thing. I'm not going to try and imitate it because I'll just make it sound horrible. But
Good morning. Oh, wait. No.
So I want to go back to what you guys
that
were
wasn't
saying
it at all.
too,
That was a nice voice, but that was not it at all.
Thank
That's-
you.
Yeah.
before
So
we got distracted.
you're trying to bait me into imitating it myself, aren't you? I'm like,
Do it. Just
no, I'm
do
gonna
it.
I'm-
Do
Good
it.
morning. Good morning. There we go. Right. Yeah.
That was really close. Good
That
job.
was horrible, though. Horrible. It's when my voice loses its luster.
Oh, shit. Okay. Brianna.
So I got sober with fentanyl. Off of fentanyl with Suboxone. Sorry.
I was
Listen.
weed was ruining my life, so I fentanyl got me off the weed. Hey, fuck, right?
Listen, I am burnt out from work.
Harm escalation strategy there. Okay. Yeah. All right.
So I got sober with Suboxone and I still would drink. And for a while it took me to cut back on the drinking, but I always said that. I'm being mindful. I'm not drinking as much as I used to. What's the problem? I'm not drinking as much as I used to. And then I really do feel like I got complacent with stuff and my wake up call was getting a DWI. A year and a half off of fentanyl and cocaine and all that stuff, and I got a DWI, and it flipped my life all around. I'm on felony probation for 5 years, like all this stuff happened, but it taught me that Suboxone was the only thing I could do. Like, I'm not going to be good just, drinking here and there because I'm not doing it how I used to, because it is a slippery slope and it can real quick.
Absolutely.
quick,
No,
you
no,
can go
and I
back to
don't
where you were.
disagree with that at all. No. I've managed to sustain it for 9 months, but I just don't like if I chose to go without it for the next couple of months, like that would be fine. Like
Yeah.
it's something that I just don't need anymore. And I just never thought I would get to that point. But this is why I don't encourage it either. Like I don't talk about this on my podcast and say, give this a go. It's not really, I don't think that's the best way to go for everybody. A lot of people do better going completely abstinent, because alcohol as well is, if you get drunk, it can initiate cravings, and that's why I really often have lots of lapses. So it's
like,
better to stay away.
What you said too, Paris. Like, I love being able to go to my brother's house, and there's always bottles upon bottles of liquor in his house. They make little mixed drinks every once in a while. I used to stay up and drink all that. Now, it's absolutely safe. But if I were to go to my mom's house and there's beer in the fridge because of the environment that I'm in, I am so tempted to open a beer and to drink a beer and to drink some liquor and stuff like that. So it's a lot about environment also.
That's some self.
That's so true.
For that. Yeah.
Listen, Chuck, I'm Miss Self-Awareness. Like me and Jared went to New York City last year. We went out to a restaurant. I got a fancy mixed drink. Did I want to keep drinking afterwards? No.
Yeah, we're not going to be able to.
Because of the environment that I was in.
Unacceptable.
Oh, it was gorgeous. It had like a lavender ice ball in the middle and stuff like that. Like it was pretty, but it was gross too. So
it's kind of like me. I'm pretty, but kind of gross. Yeah.
I love you. I love you, Chuck.
I'm not very pretty. I'm pretty gross.
Chuck, you are absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah. And I think being around Jared too helps. Alcohol
helps me look prettier. I can tell you that fucking much. Sorry, I could. It was there. It was low hanging fruit.
Okay, finish what you were saying about me. Finish what you were saying.
Oh, okay. Narcissism. There you go, Chuck. I said it for you. Alcohol's never been a problem for Jared. He can just have a drink and keep it moving. So I think that's also helped me, because we're not going to go out to a restaurant and he's going to be like, oh, I'm going to order a beer. And I'm going to have to sit there and be like, no, don't touch it. Get a soda or something. He's ordering soda, water, tea, stuff like that, so it's helped, because even going out to a restaurant, there's bars in almost every single restaurant. I know I can get a drink, but the fact that I'm with him, I'm not going to, because he's not going to be putting it in my
Boston's
face.
Brain, if it can drink, it says yes. We asked Boston's liver, and it's determined that was a lie. Yes.
And the lie detector test determined, Chuck.
Damian, I gotta say, Damian, you're like really good at you're just you're sitting there, you're all quiet, just kind of waiting your turn. You got that old fucking deadly silent, fuck with your life face tattoo 35 going on. So
can I tell you something about Damian? He likes structure.
Please do.
He likes
What's that?
Structure. So that's probably why he's just sitting there. He's just.
Oh, somebody's done some Fed time. Hey. No. Okay.
Yeah.
Damn, discriminate much?
It was AA. That's why he says he's an AA person. AA taught him structure and following, rules and lists and stuff like that. And it's just.
Well, now my structure is really different. I mean, it's such it's such a small, it's just kind of gave me like a format that I realized I worked well. But yeah, I mean, it's interesting to hear everyone's experience with it, and that's like what we're talking about, is that it's different. Like, I'm a vicious alcoholic. I can have 0 drinks. Drinking, I mean, by the end of my drinking, I was puking blood and shitting blood, and abstinence, like you were saying, Chuck. I'm like, all my relapses started with something benign, like maybe I'll just try some kratom or some weed, and I always end up back drinking till I'm almost dead and doing heroin. It just every time. So it's for me, but my best friend who I did heroin with for forever, and he's lived on the streets of New York for years and sold dope and the whole thing. He smokes weed now, drinks sometimes. And I don't have anything to say. His life, he went from living on the streets of New York and being homeless and being a terrible drug addict to having a really cool life with a wife, and they get to see their kid, and she was a terrible drug addict, and it works for them, But for me, it's a no-go. If I drink, it just doesn't work for me, But I don't think, when I hear it, I'm like you, Chuck. There is times, because I have seen when people say that and they're in early sobriety, sometimes I'm just it's a gamble, and I'm like, I hope this works for you,
Yeah, right.
It does work for some people. So I I don't know enough to know what the fuck works for everyone, you
Who
know?
fucking does, right?
We just got to
There's
be there to
many-
support, you know.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And
there's
we
as many
learn
paths
and
to
we learn
recovery
what
as
works for
souls
us.
in the world, and that's just the reality of it, right?
Yeah.
I think it's
Yeah,
like
we're
Chuck
all so
said, too.
unique.
Yeah. I think like Chuck said too, like the self-awareness, being self-aware of what you're saying to somebody and how you're saying it to them, where it's coming off in a supportive way, and then
Yes.
you're trying to understand.
Huge amen
What
to
do,
that.
what do you say, Chuck?
Seek to be understood. No, seek to understand, not to be understood.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
You know,
if
and
you
it's
take
you know
that
like
into every interaction with another human being, you are going to
Yeah.
be
Regardless
so
if
like
you,
you said,
regardless if
Damian,
you,
like somebody being in early recovery, like maybe asking them, you can ask them, why are you choosing this?
Yeah.
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 So we can understand.
Mm.
And then we can listen
I
to
like
them,
that. I like
and
that.
maybe they're saying something that we're like, yeah, no, maybe you're looking at this the wrong way.
Yeah.
Well, and I also know
You
that
know?
like if once my mind's set, you're not going to talk me out of it. So it's
Yeah.
like I also am kind of like, yeah, how can I be as loving and supportive possible so that if it doesn't work, I haven't shut the door and you're like, oh, that guy was a fucking asshole who's in that complete abstinence. Instead, I'm like,
there.
cool, absolutely. You're gonna smoke weed. I don't know if that's gonna work for you or not, but I support you in however you're gonna try to get better. And then if it doesn't work, I'm here still in the same capacity. I love you the same. I want you to be better the same. So I think it's like, why would I shut the door on someone who I know needs help regardless? And if it does work,
Yes.
fuck yeah, dude. Like, you don't think I wish I could sometimes just like smoke weed and it made me feel chill? Absolutely. It just doesn't do that for me. But it also took me exploring those paths and luckily surviving the failures that they were,
Yeah, luckily surviving, right? Yeah, that's important for sure, right? I know one of the things I like to say to people that are in my life and still working on getting to to this side is that you never have to lie to me. Don't feel like you need to. I won't judge you. I won't nothing. Just I'm somebody you can be honest with, right? And just leave it at that and let them be, let them say what they're going to say. Oh dear. Right.
I will tell you that quote that Chuck says, seek to understand, not to be understood, as many times as I've wanted to slap him for telling me that, it really does. It really, really does change your point of view on things. Even if you don't.
Every interaction you have, especially a negative one. If you're disagreeing with somebody about something and you say, think that to yourself and you can live that for the minute, it's going to change everything. Right.
Yeah.
Even when she's fucking wrong. Right. Understand.
Right.
Dude,
but it's a good takeaway, for people.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. How you doing for time, bro? You good? I know it's quite often these are like, well, let's just call it what it is. You pussy out about now, so I just want to make sure that you're okay, right?
Well, it's not just me, but it's also our lovely guests.
It's pretty much just you normally. I'm just saying.
Well, we got about 10 minutes.
Okay.
We're good.
Guys, let's switch this to our guests then, and let's talk about your platforms. Damian, let's just switch it up this time. Fuck chivalry. What's tell us about Path of Dog. Yeah.
So Path of Dog is my Instagram. It's connected to my Facebook, but primarily it's working through Instagram. And basically, like I have found, like I was talking about, like with structure, and it's not for everyone. And that's like with everything I do. And I talk about that a lot because I'm in no like delusion that what works for me is going to work for fucking anybody else at all. But like for me, I have found that like adding a lot, because it was like AA and then just AA didn't work for me. I relapsed so many times working a program, so I've had to like add a lot of things because I need like this kind of all encompassing holistic thing. So like I've gotten really into like physical fitness. I started off running ultra marathons. Now I'm really into working out. And for me, it's like I have like the system and coaches that I've worked with. I've built something or I've been taught, and I've built it in my own life where it's like, it seems to me where if the more things that I have that hold me accountable and that help me to move through difficult things and that make me feel healthy and confident and like I have wins throughout, because, like most of us who have been through this deal, like I felt like such a failure because I failed consistently, like I didn't always want to be getting high. I didn't want to get high the last like 5 years of my addiction. I just couldn't do it. Like we used to literally, we would like drive to the dope man sick, and we would just be like, it's our last time. Tomorrow we're all kicking dope. And that was every
Anybody
day.
who was gonna quit.
God damn it.
Every day was the last day.
Yeah, and then the next day we'd be like, okay, today's the day. And then once everyone started getting runny noses, we'd be like, all right, let's one more time, you know?
Yeah.
You know what my favorite thing was? Buying enough drugs for a couple days.
Oh, dude, those are the best. So high. Yeah, that's the fucking best.
A couple days and you use it
You're
within
just getting
like
really
2
fucking
hours.
high today.
Yeah.
A gram or a quarter, didn't matter. I was fucking lasted the same amount of time, right? Yeah.
Yeah, what do you say?
Without a doubt.
So for me,
And
it's
hey,
like,
guys, I posted the link to your Instagram in the comments here too. David.
okay, thank you so much. But yeah, for me, it's basically like I find that the more disciplined I am, just the easier my life has gotten. And I've gotten to be able to come like, because at first I just wanted to be sober, and it's amazing. And without it, I can't be any of the other stuff I want to be. But I also want to be a better man. I want to be a better husband. I want to be a better father. And so like, for me, it's just been like playing with all these different pieces of the puzzle that help. And what's cool about it that I've noticed is it seems to help people that aren't even like diehard addicts. Just someone who's like, man, I feel like drinking's just getting in the fucking way of my life. And so I'm just daily on there showing the things that I do that work for me. And that's why tonight's whole thing's perfect. And I love it. It's like, this works for me. If you connect to it, jump in. I got a blueprint of what works for me as the kind of person and brain that I have, and jump in and let's do this. And let's do it as a community. Cause like you were saying, Chuck, it's like, man, feeling alone. I know what it's like to feel all the fuck alone. There's nothing worse than feeling all alone. And so for me, it's like, how do we build community? How do we build? It doesn't matter if Paris drinks or if Jared drinks or someone does Suboxone. Like, we're all in this deal together. We're all fighting for our lives, you know? So it's like, figure out what works for you and put it out there. And potentially, and most likely, since we're not that unique, it's going to work for someone else, you know? Absolutely. And so that's all I'm doing is sharing my life and what's helping my life get better. Cause it's not like I have to I'm not creating anything new. I'm just saying, this is making my life better, and I want to show y'all exactly how I'm doing it.
Absolutely.
And that's
Yeah.
I'm going to jump in here real quick, Damian. It's been over 2 years since I've dosed on Suboxone. I just want to like pat myself on the back.
Yeah.
But, you know, it helped get me sober, and structure and understanding is what has kept me sober and, you know, since getting off. I just had to
100%.
build that foundation and feel secure. And then I was able to take Suboxone out of the equation. And now I trust myself enough where I don't need something else helping me to stay sober.
And just the fact that you got off Suboxone, because I've kicked Suboxone twice, and there is nothing worse than kicking Suboxone for me. So God bless you for getting off.
And good for you. Yeah. Right. Yeah. You just came up on your 4 years. Was it, Brianna?
Yep.
4 years?
February 27th. I celebrated
Yeah.
4 years.
Just recent, right. Congrats on that.
Yep. Yeah, thank you.
But just before we jump on you, Paris, I want to speak to a couple of things you just said there, Damian. That feeling of being alone, that feeling of not being loved. And the worst part, if you look at the hoodie here, the worst one for me is down at the bottom, is to feel lovable, right? It's the hardest fucking one of the bunch to get down, and like just to feel, and when you're being dismissed and you're being shit on and you're doing things that are out of character, and it just makes it so hard to do those things, right? So yeah, right. Also, you look pretty good in a hoodie. I'm just saying, right? You know, black or white, pick your color scheme, you know, right?
I'll answer for you. Buy a fucking hoodie. Please support our man and buy a hoodie or a tank top, depending on what part of the country you live in.
Where do we get the hoodies?
You can go to the website is HOApodcast.com/merch, or you can just message me. I prefer it's $10 cheaper if we do it directly, because if you pay through the website, it takes me 2 weeks to get the fucking money, and they take their chunk, and it's a big to do, right? So, but yeah, and I'm going to invite you onto the show here as soon as we're done talking anyway, Damian, so we can have a conversation. But yeah, the hoodies are they're making some waves. They're good. Thank you to Haley for making that first reel about them. Haley from the comments here, Delash Schmidt. Follow her, guys. She put hers on the other day, and she went around talking to randoms and getting pictures with random people all day with their hoodie on. It was the coolest thing. It was like,
oh, it's so good.
Yeah, right. How sweet was that? It was awesome. It was awesome. So, Paris, tell us about Shit's Fucked.
What?
So shit is fucked, right? Didn't take me long to come up with that name. Literally first thought. So I was like, shit's fucked, done.
All the brainstorming. Okay, we're done next. Yeah.
That's it. That's literally how it was born.
No focus groups, no none of that. That was just
no mind maps, nothing. Shit's fucked.
The monster was born.
But nah, so I started Shit's Fucked during my time of being alcohol abstinent, because I actually saw a comment there before that someone mentioned when they stopped drinking, they suddenly got all this time back. And it's so fucking true. I'd wanted to start this podcast for so long. And then when I actually stopped drinking, I was the most productive I have ever fucking been in my life. Like, I literally launched the podcast within 2 weeks of me not drinking. And I was just like, fuck, I should have done this earlier, man. Like, Jesus Christ, I didn't realize how much alcohol was limiting me in that capacity. But yeah, so I launched it basically because I'm really passionate about helping other people recover, but also about creating more of an awareness around it, educating people further on addiction and how we can help as a society, like how we can come together as a collective, because I think that's the biggest issue. There's so many stigmas, there's so much judgment still, and there is a lot of finger pointing as well. Like even where I am right now, there is a really bad meth problem here, and I constantly see the locals complaining about the meth addicts that are breaking into the stores and or just being a nuisance on the streets and things like that. And then I literally responded to it on the group chat saying, how about instead of, getting frustrated at, this happening, why don't we ask ourselves, what can we do to help our most vulnerable? Like, these are people struggling. What supports are available to them here? Here where I am, there's none. There's literally no support. So I was like, this is why this is happening, and why it's become such an issue here is because they don't even have access to resources. Like, I'm very far out from the city. So that was another thing. It's like, I'm wanting to be able to put resources out there online. There's a few people I've connected with who run their own support groups that are hybrid. They're online and in person. So people, if you don't have access to those resources where you are, you can just still jump on. And that's the biggest thing I'm trying to do. I'm trying to connect with people all around the world who have some kind of expertise, who are either in the industry or a lived experience, and have golden nuggets to share with people. And I just want it to reach everyone. Everyone should be able to have access to all this information and these resources and these tools. And that's what I want. And I want to make some noise about it as well. Like, I want to see more done here in Australia in regards to providing more support and resources for people, because we are seriously lacking. Seriously lacking. It's a really big problem. And since COVID, it only got worse. It got so much worse. I was actually saying, Jared and Brianna, before you guys jumped on, that, I have a dear friend who is struggling with severe mental health issues. And to give you a snapshot of what we're kind of experiencing with the Australian government is, she isn't even considered a high risk, even though she's attempted like 5 times in the last 2 weeks, but because she's got shelter and food, she's not being admitted anywhere. So it's just like, it's gotten to that point where we're all being categorized on whether we have shelter, whether we have food, because we don't have enough beds. We don't have enough resources. Like, it's just, you have to be on the bones of your ass to get help here, which is just really, really, really fucking sucks. And this is where we start to lose people. So that's my ultimate mission. I'm wanting to go beyond that. I'm studying a Cert 4 in alcohol and other drugs. I want to become an online recovery coach myself, because I've had a lot of people reach out to me wanting help who don't have access to those resources. So that's the big dream. But yeah, so that's it.
Well, I can tell you, Paris, you need to come on the Blacklist podcast.
Let's do it.
Yeah. Now you're in the circuit. Watch what happens, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
And I just posted your link to your Facebook page up in the comments as well, right? So,
thanks, legend.
Hey, Chuck, before we end, let's plug our platforms real quick.
I was just gonna say, hey, why don't you tell us about the Blacklist?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
All right. I just popped the website in the comments. The blacklistpodcast.com, BLAKLIST
That's important. Otherwise,
yes,
you end up
very
listening to a
important.
podcast about an outdated TV show. Yeah.
Yeah.
For a fucking
yeah.
hour. Okay. Yeah.
We do a lot of mental health recovery. We love it. A lot of people. Monday we have Nick Thompson from Netflix's season 2 of Love Is Blind. He deals with a lot of mental health and whatnot from reality TV. So his episode will drop Monday. We just had no, yeah, but his episode's not dropping yet. We just had Nemo and Bryce Norcom's episode that dropped, and then of course Chuck said it earlier. Mike Miller from the Yatra Center, his he's a trauma therapist. His episode dropped, and it is very, very, very good. So you want to go check that out.
Yeah, it is. It really is, right? So, and speaking of that, that's the Yatra Trauma Center is their title sponsor most of my episodes these days. He invited me to Thailand to take part in their 30-day trauma treatment program. Unreal. It's one of a kind. Anybody who's paying attention to this right now, it is the only one of its kind in the world. They treat trauma through the lens. And Mike, of course, is 20 years in recovery himself. So it's not a treatment center in your typical way. They work on trauma and trauma only, but through the lens of somebody in recovery as their head clinician. So it's an amazing experience. Damian, we'll talk more about that. I see you genuinely curious there. Yeah. It changed my life, like in so many ways, right? So many ways. Just absolutely incredible experience. Check them out, guys, yatracenter.com. Ask Dawson podcast, guys. We do 3 episodes a week. Kaleidoscope Wednesdays, those may take a change here right away. The Weekend Ramble, of course, if you tune in tomorrow, you get to hear more from Paris. So it won't just be us introducing her the whole time or interrupting her the whole time. She's on the Weekend Ramble with us tomorrow with myself and my psychiatrist friend out of Calgary, Canada, Dr. Lisa. That will drop tomorrow night sometime. Depends on how fast I can get it edited and produced and all that. It makes for a long day for me over here getting it done. But a big focus on our platform is to the loved ones of people who suffer an addiction. It's kind of the main focus of what we do. And that is, I believe, a lot of, if not most people who are in the throes of active addiction right now, they're not tuning into a podcast. That's just a reality, right? Like, fuck, my last couple of years, I was just trying to survive and I wasn't going to tune into nothing, right? You know, you can all agree to that. But our families, their families, are desperately seeking resources all the time. So that is, I figure the best way I can with my particular skill set to help the people that are still in it is to help their families, by extension, to help them. So check us out, guys, a2apodcast.com. We do stream all the episodes on the usual Spotify's, YouTubes, and all that, but also just right on the Facebook page now. We're doing that as well. It's really helped our reach. So check them out.
Now we go into daily gratitude.
Yeah. So one of the things that we've done in every single episode is daily gratitude. You didn't have to do that, Jared. You made it fucking weird. That's what you did, right? Yeah.
I was going to say now my favorite part of the show.
Listen, this is where everybody thinks that they run everything.
Want to introduce the daily gratitude? Does somebody in the comments want to do it? Because, like, why not, right?
Yeah. Daily gratitudes. If you got them, drop them in the comment, ladies and gentlemen, please.
And a lot of people in the comments are here every single Friday, so I'm sure they could type it out what you say, Chuck.
Probably
word
could.
for word,
Probably
every
could. Yeah,
Friday.
but anyway, all that shit aside, now it's time for my favorite part of the show. That's daily gratitudes. Dr. Chivalry, Paris, what you got for some daily gratitudes today?
I am grateful for, I don't know, just the life that I've built now through sobriety. It's just, I'm just so grateful that I get to wake up each day with a heart full of love. And, you know, I've built so many relationships back now, and I'm just, so grateful.
And that's the best part, the relationships you get back, right? Like, I shit them all for so long. So that's awesome.
Yeah, me too, don't worry.
Good gratitude. Damon, what you got for some daily gratitude?
I got, built back friendship. I got to hang out with a 20-year friend who's in town who's just seen me go through everything and just kind of sharing stories and getting that perspective of where I've been to where I am. You know, she's seen me at such terrible places, and now she just got to meet my family. And so, perspective, absolutely, my sobriety, and this, just this world of the internet, recovery world, where potentially we could reach people that this would never happen. You know, I've been feeling a lot of gratitude for this lately.
Yeah, right. David says he's grateful that 4 different people have reached out to me this past week asking if I can help them get into treatment. Instead of being the person who everyone avoids, becoming the person people come to for advice. That's awesome, man.
That's awesome.
Right. One more in the comments here. Grateful for being sober, sharing the same journey with Haley Schmidt and my cuz getting closer to God. Good stuff, Craig. Good stuff, man. Good for you, bro. Good for you. All right. What you got for us, Brianna? Yeah.
I had to beat you to it.
Better not beat me to it later.
Oh my gosh.
Sorry, guys.
Keep that up all night, baby.
For the guest, this is common. Okay, it's all right.
Fun.
So
Just
Paris,
kidding, Haley. Yeah.
Paris gave me the perfect word for my daily gratitude today. And it's time, getting that time back and being, clear-minded and present, and I'm living every minute instead of just a little bit of my day. So today I'm grateful for time.
It's awesome. It's awesome. Yeah. Jared, what you got?
Hold on, Travis
Travis
Ball. I'm grateful. Oh, hold on. Sorry, David.
I got it.
You got it?
Yeah. All right. I got it.
All right. I'm grateful for the new things I've learned and woke up to, and seeing others be given the great gifts of being used in a positive way.
True story.
Absolutely.
Right.
For me,
For you.
this woman right here, because
I don't know why I laughed.
What?
I don't know why I laughed.
Jeez. Because yes, the situation that happened last night, and the different things and craziness in there. This woman's solid, 100% solid, and I appreciate her, and she helps me try to become a better person every single day. So I'm grateful for her.
That's awesome. Haley says, I share that with Brianna Elizabeth. I'm grateful for time here and to just another day. Right. Good stuff. Myself, I am, as always, I'm grateful for this idiot at my feet, Sonny, my dog. He makes my life complete every single day. Right? So I'm also grateful to every single person who continues to like, comment, share, hit all the buttons down at the bottom, wherever they are. Every time you do any one of these things, you're getting us a little bit closer to living our best lives. Our best lives would be to make a humble living, spreading the message. The message is this. If you're in active addiction right now, today could be the day. Today could be the day that you start a lifelong journey. Reach out to a friend, reach out to a family member, call into detox, go to a meeting, go to church, pray. I don't care. Do whatever it is you have to do to get that journey started, because it is so much better than the alternative. And if you have a loved one who's suffering in it right now, you just take the time to listen to this show. If you just take one more minute out of your day and text that person, let them know they are loved. Use the words.
You are loved.
Loved.
And the little glimmer of hope just might be the thing that brings them back.